Hi, I'm Kevin Thomas, W1DED, and this is Q5AM Radio. Today I'm joined by Manuel Whiskey Papa 4 Tango Zulu, a newer ham in Puerto Rico who started in summits on the air, moved into parks on the air, and is now diving headfirst into contesting. That learning curve is on full display during the recent ARRL 10-meter contest, where Manuel was right in the mix in a contest online scoreboard battle with WP3A and NP3A. Manuel represents exactly the kind of curious, motivated new operator our hobby needs. Q5 is supported by DX Engineering, helping operators grow from portable setups to serious contest stations. Manuel, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
So I want to talk about the contest this past weekend. It was pretty exciting to see you three guys going at it. But let's go back to when you got first licensed. What was the motivation to get a ham radio license?
I knew about ham radio since the 90s because I was into 11 meters, and but at some point I just forgot about everything for like more than 20 years, and then back in 2023 I think I started. I don't know. I think I was just looking for something different. I knew about ham radio, but it wasn't in my radar. But then what brought me into it was actually summits on the air. I started seeing YouTube videos and stuff like that, and I was doing rock climbing already and hiking and all that stuff. So it was like, oh, this is an interesting way to join both things. So that's actually what really like brought me into the hobby.
So you haven't been in ham radio very long then, if it was 2023.
Yeah, this is my fourth year, I think. 2023.
So you've got started with soda, and I remember seeing your photographs. You take some great photographs, by the way.
Thank you.
And I think your Instagram handle is Radiohead.
Yeah, Radiohead, yeah.
So anybody who wants to check that out, I think you'd really enjoy the photos. But you've also done parks on the air.
Yeah, I do. I did it a lot. I'm not doing it as much right now because I kind of started doing it a lot when I started doing CW, because it was just my weekly practice. I would do 3-4 parks a week just to get it going. And right now I'm doing other stuff, and I might do 1 or 2 parks a week, not as much as I was doing. But parks on the air is also a great activity. I mean, you get to play with your radio outside anywhere. It's just fun to be outside.
So when did you make the step toward contesting? Because I looked on 3830. You've actually done a lot of contesting, not only single op, but multi-2, multi-single.
Yeah.
Looks like you're doing a lot of the CW ops.
I started right away with sideband. I think the first year when I still had my general, I started just playing around with contests on sideband from home with my dipole. And then when I started getting more into CW and, getting actually to the point where I could, copy fast and send, I think I started doing a few on my own, and then some friends from here called me, and I joined them at WP3Z, which is the station in Ay Bonito, which is just a bunch of friends, and we do the multi-ops, and that's how it started. And from there, if I have a chance to do the, like for me, the multi-ops are fun, and I like the short contests on my own. But the 48-hour, pushes, all bands and all that stuff, I think I've done it twice, and it's a little bit too much for my patience. I think like sitting for 48 hours is a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think I noticed that some of your single ops are single band entries. Is that right?
Yeah, especially 10 meters, because I know I can play on the radio all day long, and then I know that at night the band is gonna die, so I can do something else.
So what do you have for a station at your house?
Well, at home right now I have a Yaesu 991A. And I have a loaner antenna for my friend KP4PK. I have a 4-element quad beam for 10 meters. And I bought a hex beam that I haven't still, I still have to put the tower and all the stuff. So I have kind of like a semi setup on the roof of my house. And that's actually also why I've been playing with 10 meters more, because I have a decent antenna, a good antenna. It makes it decent that I'm not in a great position because the antenna is like 10 feet from the ground, from the rooftop. But that's one of the reasons why I do mostly 10 meters right now.
And tell me about WP3Z. Is that the Sierra Club?
Yeah, that's Sierra Contest Club, yeah. Contest group, actually.
And what do they have for a station there?
Well, right now there's a flex for remote, because I also do remote from there. There's a flex setup, and I think there's a Jesu. I'm so bad with radio namings. One big Jesu setup, and right now he has 3 towers. There's one tower with a tri-bander, I think. There's 2 tri-banders in 2 towers, and then there's a bigger tower for a 40-meter 2-element, which is still to be set up. It's a pretty good setup there.
So how was it that you got involved with that? You said you had some friends that invited you over?
Well, because when I'm home, I usually turn on the 2 meters, and I talk to the folks around, and so I met KP3J through 2 meters, because when he got out of work, he would go all the way to his home in Ay Bonito with the radio on, and we would speak on the radio. So I met him through 2 meters, and he's the one with the station up in Ay Bonito. And one day he just contacted me. Hey, do you wanna? Is contesting something that interests you? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And I started going up there and meet them, and started helping them out with the towers and stuff like that, going up the towers, setting stuff up. And I do what they tell me, because I don't know much. I just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And that's how it started, basically.
So how did they pull you into this ARRL 10 competition? I know there's a lot of buzz on Facebook about the 3 of you. I think it was WP3A and NP3A, is that right?
NP3A and WP3A, yeah. WP3A is actually in KP2 Bravo in St. Croix. He was operating from St. Croix. That's his station in St. Croix. And NP3A was here, and I was here remotely. I was working remotely from KP3 TP. And I was kind of interested in doing the contest, but the truth is that I've been surfing quite a lot this month, and I was like, I don't want to not go during the weekend. But I had a knee injury surfing, so I was like, I'm not gonna go out. So I decided to stay, and I said, okay, let's do it. Let's go all the way. So, and it was also motivating that they started doing let's do the 3 of us, and let's do the Caribbean, whatever, And I was like, okay, I know they're way better operators than me. They've been doing this for I don't know how many years. But
you held your own. You did a good job.
I did my best.
And I noticed that I was watching the contest online scoreboard, and it was the 3 of you, and I think that you ended on the scoreboard in 3rd place. Looks like there was an N4 that wasn't on the scoreboard, and he just barely squeaked out the 3rd spot. And of course, it's close enough that who knows after log checking what may happen, but it was very impressive, Manuel.
No, and there's also people that don't put their scores in 38. The actual score might vary a lot, But during the contest, I'm more interested in the actual. I'm looking at because when I saw them in the night of the first night, they started like way ahead of me. I was like, I'm not copying anything. Like, what's up? So the next day, I realized they are just the both of them are just gonna go. So I said, okay, my next goal is gonna be to end up 3rd in the scoreboard online. That's gonna be my goal. So I was like going after, I think it was N7. Not sure, but he and I were going like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's fun. I don't know why more people don't just go online and put their score online. It's just it makes the event more engaging, I think.
So Manuel, tell me, as a relatively new ham, a relatively new contester, what is it that you love about contesting?
I think I think it's just the rush of keeping up and the big pileups. When you get a big pileup, it's just time flies. When the pileup dies, that's when it starts to get like. But as long as you have a pileup, I'm like all on it. You know, like my mind is 100% in it, especially in CW because you have to, you know, like copy the call. Some people might throw it way faster than you can copy, and I think it's just a mental challenge, you know, just to be on top of it and fighting the urge sometimes when they're longer contests to, you know, you start feeling asleep and tired. But I mean the pileups, I think it's all about working the pileups.
And where have you learned the skills for contesting? Has that been through the club?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I started on my own from what I saw, maybe watching videos on YouTube and stuff, seeing kind of how they behave, how they're, especially in sideband, how they speak, the rhythm. And but the first contest that we did up there was, I think it was all CW. So I started, you know, doing my thing, and I started getting corrections from them, things like how to use the keyboard, like, you know, don't use the key so much, you know, try to, you know, if you want to be fast, you know, just the key is something for like just in case, you know, if you want to go fast, you have to get fast with the keyboard, you know. And at the beginning I was using the key a lot, and you know, they were like, no, I mean, and also like, also, you know, how to just put the right hand on the numbers when you're copying numbers with the contests that have number exchanges and things like that, you know, things that if someone doesn't tell you, you just never realize it, and you never realize it, and you keep going doing the same mistakes.
So going back to your POTA days, I know you're doing less of it now, but Parks on the Air from Puerto Rico, you must have had some pileups there also.
Yeah, but that's also, I think that's also one thing that got me a little bit better faster, because when I activate, I usually I identify these parks that I know are gonna give me pileups at certain times of day. Usually beach verticals on the beach here are, you know, are winners. So I would go, you know, late 4 p.m. I know that from 4 to 6, those 2 hours, the band open and I get pileups. So yeah, that definitely helped me out with copying faster and faster. And I mean, I copy fast. I'm not I don't see myself as a good up, in the sense of I can copy fast call signs and for contesting, but I can't have a conversation on CW at that speed at all, you know. So for what I'm doing now, the POTA, the faster copy and all that stuff really helped me out. Yeah.
And I'm curious, when you were doing soda, obviously, if you're climbing, you can't take a lot of gear. What were you taking for gear when you're climbing?
Well, I mean, for most summits on the air, you don't have to actually climb. You just they're hikes and sometimes scrambling. In the U.S., mostly scrambling. Here is where the harder parts are the bushwalk, because there's a lot of summits here that are just pure jungle, and you have to open, and that's a different story. But for summits on the air, what I'm doing right now, I have an Aircraft KX2. I have an Aircraft KX2, and usually I set up. I used to set up a dipole, but sometimes there's not enough space on the summit. So right now I'm usually setting up an end-fed halfway for 10 and 20. That's usually what I use here. Even for POTA, I don't work 40 meters because there's not much from here. I mean, the radius is just too close. But 10, 15, 20, those are the bands that I work from here.
So Manuel, what advice would you have to other new contesters?
I think the best advice is just to get on it. You know, I mean, if it's something that interests you and you feel a little bit intimidated, just go for it. I mean, when I started, I didn't even started. I started calling CQ the first day. I said, whatever, I'm just gonna call CQ. And I started with my dipole calling CQ like I knew what I was doing. And as the contest went on, I started feeling like I kind of knew what I was doing. So it's just something that it might seem intimidating at first, but once you start doing it, it clicks pretty fast. I think it's not it takes time to get good at it, of course. That's not what I'm not saying that you get good fast, but you get comfortable at it quite fast.
And obviously you take it seriously enough that I met you in Dayton. You were at the contest university.
It was fun. There was one specifically about contesting that I got a few things off. I think the best part of that kind of activity is relationships, meeting people, and I met you. I met other people that are into contesting or just radio in general. So for my opinion with that kind of thing is that there's something to be learned for everybody, and that the thing in common that everybody can learn can take from is the relationship with other people.
And what's the next big event on your calendar?
I know the guys want to do some multi-ups next year, and but I think I want to do an AQP on January. Yeah.
And will you do that from the club station?
I hope I can do it from there, because right now KP3A is not in Puerto Rico, so the station is not available for us. Right? I could do it remotely, but I'd rather do it there. So if I can do it from there, I'll probably do it from there.
And do you think that'll be an all band effort?
Probably, yeah, because that one is a short one, and that's like 12 hours, so it makes sense to do it all band, yeah.
So you're still trying to balance this with your surfing, apparently.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I was off surfing for quite some time, and I came back and it just hooked me up again. So I'm like, priorities, but I want to do it all.
Totally understand. And do you think that you'll expand your home station?
My plan right now is to put a run tower. I have a hex beam already there, so I have to set up the run tower. I wanted to do it before the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe in January I can make it happen. I have the hex beam, and I have to figure out what to do with 40 meters. That's as much as I might do. I don't think I'm going to do 80 and 160. I might do it up to 40, down to 40.
And are you in a pretty good location? Are you on the north side of the island or south?
I'm on the north, but I'm on a just residential area. I have houses everywhere, cables, electricity everywhere. It's not ideal. It's kind of it's kind of high, but it's high, but I have mountains around. It's not ideal.
So a lot of noise.
There is, but the quad for that's one thing. The quad is great. When it cancels everything. If I could put a multi-band quad up there, that'll be great, but that's a little bit too much.
Are your neighbors okay with the tower?
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah, here this is an old this is how do you call this? This development is from like the 50s, I think, so it's old. So there's no rules or anything for that. Just this is your house. You do whatever you want to do in your house.
So what can you tell me about the other two operators that were on the leaderboard this weekend, NP3A and WP3A?
Yeah, that was Eric and Jaime, and they both are great ops. They've been friends for a long time, so I met them both at the station up there. I think I knew about Eric before, because Eric also sometimes does POTA and all that. But I met Jaime, and I met Eric personally up in the station, and they were very welcoming. They taught me a lot how to operate and do the stuff, and I actually went I actually went to St. Croix last year to help Jaime. I went with KP3N Osvaldo, which is another operator from the station, and we went help him with some antennas there. He has a great station there in KP2. But they're, I mean, what can I say? They're just great ops, great guys to be around, you know, good friends.
And you must know Felipe, NP4Z.
Yeah, I met Felipe. I knew about him also, and I met him. He went to the station once. We were doing a contest, and he wasn't operating that day. And he went, he hung out with us a little bit, and I met him up there. Yeah.
Seems like a good group of guys.
Yeah. It's a great group. I mean, that's why I like the multi ops, because, you know, I mean, you're operating, you're there for 48 hours, but you know, you have breaks, you mingle, you work and have fun at the same time, you know. It doesn't feel like you're actually working on the radio, you know.
Sounds like the best combination.
Yeah.
Manuel, I really appreciate you joining me tonight.
Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. And great videos, like always.
Well, thank you. I hope to be down in the Caribbean operating during the NAQP. So if I am, I'll definitely be looking for you on the air.
You're going to the station that you usually go?
I hope to go to Turks and Caicos. The station I used last year for WPX has been sold, but I found a place that I think will let me set up some antennas. You know, fingers crossed. I've been in contact with them over the last couple of days, and if it works out okay, then I'll take some gear down and set up on a beach. It's going to be on the north side of South Caicos and Turks and Caicos. So I'm looking forward to it. Like you said before, it's a relatively short contest, so I can still hang out with my wife and enjoy a vacation and make some contacts. I've already got my call signs, so I will definitely be looking for you if that's the case.
Sure. Set up a DX commander there on the beach, and you'll be out there.
Absolutely. My name is Kevin Thomas, W1DED. This is Q5 Ham Radio. I've been talking to Manuel WP4TZ. You'll hear him in the next contest at the NAQP, and you may hear him in SOTA or POTA also. Manuel, 73.
73.